What do the Cockroaches and Cold Chisel have in common? Well, their lead singers have been best mates since meeting over a bottle of vodka at a gig way back in the 70s. Now Paul Field and Jimmy Barnes have teamed up for the very first time on a single that features on Paul's debut solo album called Love Songs for Lonely People. I went over to Jimmy's recording studio to hear the pair spin some great yarns.
I got a friend, I met a dame. She was a hipster and a real goddamn, she was pretty.
Paul, Jimmy, amazing to see you both together.
Yes, we have the same stylist, the hair.
Yeah.
You know, we got the memo, we're wearing black.
There's a look, it's on trend.
Can you tell we're mates?
Working. Yeah. So, Paul, we're here talking about your first solo album ever.
Yeah.
Not your first, rodeo when it comes to releasing music, but your first solo album. It's called Love Songs for Lonely People. Now, you're the least lonely person I know.
I'm always surrounded by a crowd.
Yeah, with mates like Jimmy, with your beautiful family.
You prefer to be lonely with mates like me.
Where did this name come from?
Just a great name, because I started off with a couple of really, heartbreak songs, which are my favourite, and it's going to do an EP of a couple of originals and also beautiful love songs. And Jimmy actually said, mate, if you're doing an EP, make it an album. Great suggestion.
I've got ideas, man.
Yeah. And so it grew from there, and it's just, I think it's a great title. And
but so many songs are love songs for lonely people, aren't they?
They are, really. They're the ones that get to you most, you know?
Yeah. The laugh's so swift, the rain won't lift, it won't close, and the rain.
You chose a Dylan song for you to do. Talk to me about why you chose that one.
It is one of my favourite songs.
You ain't going nowhere.
He's done about 3 or 4 different versions. So when we said, why don't we do this, the question is, which version?
I didn't know until I got here. He said, we're doing that song. Great. And I kept looking up. There's this version? There's another version? Which one's the version we ended up doing again? It was your version.
I don't care, I'm in a letter they sent. The morning came and the morning went.
My brother John co-produced this with me, and man, it was just the best fun with lots of friends and family and just sitting back, just enjoying every moment. So those who get to listen to the album, if they enjoyed a quarter of as much as we did, they're going to dig it big time.
Tomorrow's the day my bride's gonna come.
You recorded it right here where we are?
Absolutely, yeah.
Which is, Jimmy, your studio.
Yeah.
You're happy to let him use the buttons, push the
but now he
switches?
knows where it is, we'll never get rid of it. No, Paul's one of our dear friends, and, I love this room here. So, we've made so many great records here, and I wanted to have, this drum room, so it sounded great, and, they use this room.
Well, and also, you got a guy playing piano on this, and Jimmy said, has he got his own gear? And I said, of course. He said, no, use the piano that's in there, which has been used on so many Cold Chisel albums. And I went, it's kind of intimidating going to a place where the piano's more famous than anyone else in the room.
Once I smoked a Dynamite cigar, I drove a foreign car, baby, that was years ago.
We bought this piano when we were doing Cold Chisel album in 301, Studio 301, and it was there. It was a Hillsong piano that they used for a film clip, and nobody liked it. It was because it's old and beaten up. We said, we'll give it a go. The best piano's been on all my records, all Cold Chisel records, and Paul's.
Now this.
It's just got a really good sound. What is
really
it about
great.
the sound?
It's just old American wood, and its bottom end's really great. It just has a warmth and a richness about it. It brings character to songs, as does Paul.
He does.
I don't care, I'm in a letter they sent. The morning came and the morning went.
You weren't going to record an album here in Jimmy's studio without sort of saying, hey, Jimmy, how about a duet?
Absolutely. You've got to ask eventually. And
because I wouldn't go away. I just kept hanging around. Can I come in yet? Yeah.
Well, actually, we were talking about it one night after a gig. We'd had a few pastries and soda waters, and that's when we agreed to it. And so the next day I thought, I'd better check, because we weren't...
Just to make sure he was okay.
Yeah. And
but, the thing is, it's not the first duet. Paul and I have sang together so many times on stage.
My first gig I went to out of school, and I was at a boarding school, so repressed and all that kind of stuff. Went to Sydney Uni, one of those nights where you pay a few bucks, you get the food, the drink and the bands. It was Ian Kirkpatrick, Richard Clapton, Mentals and Cold Chisel. And I was up the front, of course. And
as it's been ever since. He's such a music fan.
And Jimmy had a bottle of vodka, and in those days you could do anything and not get any germ or whatever, and shared it with the front row. Was like, and that was the first in 1979 of many drinks we've had.
Again, just like you were before, ripping and raising and loving up the storm. Some are staying up to the early dawn. Saturday night.
So how long was it after that that you formed the Cockroaches with your brothers?
Actually,
As soon as he sobered up.
so it's another year.
Yeah, it took a while.
No, it didn't been long after that.
No, we 79, 80 is when we started.
Yeah, and then we were like ships crossing the night. We're mates, at gigs. We'd do gigs together. We'd, be on the same bills and the same places all the time. And we've been mates ever since, Yeah.
Hey, let's go, let's go, let's go. Hey, let's go, let's go, let's go. Hey, let's go, let's go. 'Cause she's the one, 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 she's the
The Cockroaches had a few familiar faces in it. You of course.
Yeah,
Your brother Anthony, your brother John.
Yes.
Jeff.
Jeff.
That, before he had to ever wake up, really.
Well, then he was wide awake.
Wide awake.
Well, the
It was the
irony is, Jeff was. We toured. The Telegraph once did an article on the bands that played most in a year, and we were at one in 1988. And ironically enough, Jeff was the reliable when we were going from Melbourne to Sydney. He was the driver. He never fell asleep.
That's what happened to him.
Yeah, and that's right. He then spent the next 30 years sleeping on stage and getting paid for it.
You exhausted him.
He was reliable. You could crash out and go, see you in Sydney, Jeff.
What was the deciding factor for you to actually sit down and make a solo album after all these years? Because, people will know that you've been looking after the Wiggles for a long time, which is a big job.
Yes.
You stepped away from that. What's been the decision to
So
go in this direction?
It kind of, the universe kind of spoke to me a wee bit in the sense of I did retire just before COVID kicked, and we've done nearly 25 years with the Wiggles. We went from playing Blacktown RSL to Madison Square Garden, 30 million CDs and DVDs. I produced 40 of their videos. And with the new era, we're pretty much starting again with Emma Lockie, Simon and Anthony. With the ABC as our partner, we sold them into 190 countries. And just before COVID, when I was over in the States, did a 2-year deal with Netflix. So I feel my job was done, and even with the new era, the ship is moving on in a great direction. And then Pauline and my wife and I were going to, that's not Pauline, that's Jimmy. Pauline and I...
Give us a kiss. Give us a kiss, darling.
we're going to travel, and then boom.
It's Valentine's Day. I'm feeling most peculiar.
So I started some writing, and then Casey joined me on a beautiful song.
Yeah, incredible. I've just heard
Just
on the radio.
Casey Chambers, that is, by the way. It's just
Yes,
Casey.
he's a name drop, buddy. He's such a name drop. Shameless.
It's Valentine's Day,
Oh, it's Valentine's Day.
and I'm listening to Sticky Fingers.
I'm feeling most peculiar.
I've loved that song for years, and I said if I ever do it though, it'd be a great duet. And thankfully, the timing was right, and she said yes, and she's a great mate. And we actually went on a trip the year before to Africa. It was a musical safari with Casey and her band, and we got to sing on the Masai Mara, where the scouts were looking out for lions.
Wow.
But I still think she was more terrified of doing a song with me for her credibility.
If you should see her, say my smile.
People like Paul don't come along very often, He did introduce me as his wife a minute ago. But him and his wife are two of our dearest friends, and to get the opportunity to sing with your mates, it doesn't get any better.
Jimmy Barnes will headline an all-star concert called Cradle Rock, a show to raise money for research into cot death.
My daughter passed away through SIDS. Not many people knew about it back then, so we did an awareness and fundraising gig called Cradle Rock in '89. Jimmy was the first guy that said yes, and we've done so many things off the radar that Jimmy does for charity, and same here, you just help where you can, but again, we will ask how you're going and check on you and that kind of stuff. Real friendship, so yeah.
And I ring him up and say, look, I need songs. What song do you suggest I sing? We're looking for, do you know a good Celtic song? And he knows every Celtic song.
What is it about the Field family? Why are you all so musical?
Irish.
Yeah, well, there is that family background. And my dad's mother, from country New South Wales, Cobar, she would accompany the silent movies on the piano in Cobar.
Really?
That's, she was, at the forefront there. And my mum, of course, she's ever said forever, learning to play music is as important as learning to read and write. It's what she lives for. And, she's someone where you say, Mum, can you turn it down? Right. So we get it all from her, really. To this stage, she'll give you notes, That's really good. Don't you reckon?
Wow.
Which for Anthony, particularly, who makes so much content over the last 25 years, you know, he chuckles, but he listens.
He listens, yeah.
She must be proud.
Oh, yeah. Particularly with Anthony, the youngest of 7, you know, in those primary school concerts where there'd be, 500 kids on stage. Did you see Anthony? You know, and same thing actually when I first started dating Pauline. We were going to a ball and we got changed at home, and I come downstairs with my tux and whatever. And Pauline was first, and she went, "Oh, love, you look beautiful." And Pauline was about to say thank you. She was just looking at me. It's like none of us have ever suffered from lack of self-esteem with Mum.
Oh, Lord, are we gonna fight?
Well, this album's out in a minute, which is great. You going to go on the road with this? Is that your plan?
Well, talking about the road seemed impossible up until fairly recently, so I'm jumping in now. We'll certainly do a launch gig and see what we can, and even perhaps explore shooting it to stream it. So that might be even more effective, I think. So, yeah, we'll work it out.
We'll see you two on stage, no doubt.
I'll be there with
together.
him.
It'd be cool and
He'll be
security.
streaming, I'll be screaming.
My bride's gonna come. Oh, Lord, we gonna fly down in the easy chair.
So I love that. Just an amazing story of, real Aussie mateship there. And guys' stuff. Yeah, and guys talking about it openly too, which I think was really incredible.
See more of, for sure.
Yeah. So Paul's album, Love Songs for Lonely People, is out on the 4th of June. And You Ain't Going Nowhere, Paul and Jimmy's single, is out today.